Morning. Right, let's get after it. How many days? We got, it's the 20th today, so we got 11 days. 11 days. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate the support around it. Has to bring something very, very weird out of you. Out of me, rather. Trying to chase this. Thank you, Ian. Just got to give it your best, Tom. Morning, Rasha. Yeah, top 40 is good. Top 40 is good. I had a couple of messages from people actually after the weekend wondering what happened because I came 14th. That's the first time I've been off the podium in over a year. And yet it doesn't tell the full story. Like if you come top 20, short hill climb like that, you can still be very, very close to the podium. It's marginal. It's very marginal at that level. That's why I was so excited by my performance, and yet it confused people when they saw my result. But you know how it is. Dead straight, Ruben, dead straight. Just gradually gets steeper, but it's about as straightforward as it could ever be. Just dead straight for 3 minutes. Slightly steeper at the top than at the bottom. Never levels off. It's about a perfect ski ramp as you could get. So a positive split is probably the way to go. Hey Nathan, you're hyping up people in the chat, yeah? People are getting all excited now. It'd be great because back pedal is punching well above his weight right now. And hopefully next couple of weeks after I finish this balmy hill climbing thing, I'll be able to ride the back pedal in a couple of events. Be proud to wear that virtual jersey and get involved with the fun and games that happen. Post Nationals biscuit blow up. It may be a little bit of one, but I gotta stay on it. I gotta stay on it. We've got the Zwift Worlds and we've got the qualifiers and everything else. We've gotta stay on it. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, well, you know, I'll be racing much more after the national hill climb. Doing a lot more Zwift racing. Gonna pull myself back up to that level I was at on Zwift. And see what you can squeeze out of me back pedal. It's important. I wonder if I'm gonna have to use erg mode because of my gearing. We'll see. Oh no, a pack won't hurt anything though. But I certainly won't be doing it for a prolonged period of time. You can have that little blowout, but it can't turn into a week. I think my cadence is going to be a bit too high for these efforts if I don't have erg mode on. So we'll see. No, my FTP is not 455. Where'd you get that from? The interval is 455. My FTP is about 365, 375. Can't if I had 455 FTP, 60 kilos. I feel like Lance Armstrong going up the Col de Madone. 7 watts per kilo for half an hour. Oof. I've not looked at my pacing strategy. I usually leave that until I know what the weather's going to be, so it's too early to say. If it's pretty calm, like there's absolutely no reason for me to just go all guns blazing at the bottom. It doesn't matter if it's steeper at the top. I've said in some videos, I don't know if you've caught on it, but like the trouble is if you pace the short ones ever so slightly, and I don't really have the ability to do that because I'm not these riders who are incredibly good at the short, like managing their punchy, you know, super high percentage of FTP, like they can almost ride at it perfectly. I'm struggling to do that. The only thing I can do is like punch way above it and hang on. I have to remember as well, it's somewhat strange my position because I'm so strong FTP wise, that when I die off, if I start off really hard, when I die off, I don't die off like a lot. At least that's what I found now anyway. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I have no idea. Looks like erg mode's not working. It's only downside to doing this indoors with a 42 tooth chain ring. Oh, is that erg mode? Or is that just me? Might be erg mode. I can never tell the difference between erg mode and head mode. Oh no, erg mode is working. Morning, Shaz. Yeah, check load, it did work then. Cause what's interesting is like erg mode, I know we often say like erg mode, you know, don't use it for the short ones. But thing is like, you know, I'm probably going to be in that 70, high 60s, mid 70 cadence range for the national, so it almost feels as though like erg mode could benefit me a little bit, because as I get further into the effort I'm going to tire anyway, so it almost gives me that bite that I'd have on the climb. Like as the climb gets steeper or gets harder, erg mode pegs you at it, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, it's not the end of the world if it messes. That's it, Phil. Yeah, if you look at like the way Tom Bell rode the Ramsbottom rake the other day, he was able to hold his power perfectly the whole way. Second place, that was only 2 seconds slower, did basically what I did, which is start off really hard, drop a little bit when he went flat, and then finish really hard. So I guess it's what suits you and what you're capable of doing. It's incredible actually that Tom's able to just flatline ed mode in effect. That power when it's so, you know, when that percentage of FTP is so high. But yeah. Yeah, I do, Shaz, yeah. This will be a test for Rugerboard now. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Oh, it's connected to my... That's weird. Connected to the 4i, that's why. Why is it not connected to the Kickr? That explains it, doesn't it? Whoa! Can't even get going now. I just need to get over that banner. Get me over the banner. Okay. Strange, isn't it? Strange. God. It's so delayed. Now, as much as it is important for me to complete the session, the important thing is to just go flipping hard. So, numbers are there as a target, as always. The fact I'm doing this indoors, you know, aiming for specific power outputs is not necessarily optimal, because that wouldn't be what happens outdoors really in the real world. So we'll play it by ear. It's about digging deep. That's alright, Nick. How's it, Sean? Yep. Ha. Let's go. Oh, so hard to do them indoors. Whew. All good stimulus though. Not many workouts where I've got to absolutely put myself in a hole. This is one of them. Well, that's one of 4, and that was a good one. Power drop off, totally fine, totally acceptable. I'm not just looking for power here, we're looking at far more than that. It's not just about hitting perfect power the whole time. In other words, hitting the power doesn't mean you're always having the right adaptation. Heart rate's still elevated throughout. That was good. Oh. Now, I love the fact that, as you can see, I'm nowhere near the power. I love that because it gives you an accurate demonstration of, like, most of you won't be doing this session unless absolutely necessary, I hope. But fact of the matter is, I'm digging deep, which I don't often do. But when you get closer to that event, things become all the more specific. And sometimes you've got to throw out those numbers. Now there is a target. You should never be demotivated by it, especially if you want to train indoors. Because indoors and outdoors are completely different. If I was to do this outdoors now, I might be hitting these numbers bang on. But because I'm doing them indoors, it's a different story. I never get caught up in that when I'm doing workouts indoors. I never let it get to me. Especially this close to my peak. You'd think on my peak I'd be completing this workout bang on. But there's so much more to it than that. Oh. Got the Prodigy in the earphones. Classics. Last rep, S rep now. Digging deep all the way. The way I feel, I could very easily stop there. But I've got a little bit more to squeeze out. So let's get everything out of this one. We can do it. Hard work is done. Come on, hard work is done. This is the one that matters. Keep telling myself that this is the one that matters. Those three were just a warm up for this one. Get this done, and I get the mentally, like if you play the game, you get this done, you feel like you've smashed it at the park regardless of the power. You've dug deep, and that's what matters with these sessions, or with these efforts specifically. Out the saddle for this first bit, seated, and then I'll try and give everything into the finish. Yeah, that short recovery is a killer, but it's playing its part for sure. It's playing its part. Okay, here we go, come on. Come on. Ooh. I'm getting goosebumps. This is it. Let's go. It's on a climb too, perfect. completed it, mate. Ah. Yeah. Not just a physical box ticked, but that's a big mental box. That was hard. That was really, really hard. Like I said, I don't recommend you doing this. Like, I mean, if you do it, there's ways of doing it, obviously with longer recovery. And obviously not doing that hard bit at the start of it. There's ways of manipulating it to your goals and preparation, but oh my word. As most of you can probably agree with me, that's 12 minutes of work, and I am smoked. 12 minutes. Who says you need 25 hours a week? Oh my word. No, it obviously depends on what you're training for, innit? Oh my word. What I've noticed throughout this prep, this somewhat answers your question, your lord. What I've noticed throughout this prep is that I've become very good at the first effort. Like one effort I'm very good at, and then boom. And that's absolutely fine, because that's all I'm training for, isn't it? One effort. As you can see there, I was able to do that first effort almost on erg. But that's what I found throughout this whole period. Hey Stuart, how are you doing? I saw your little message in the chat. Obviously I couldn't say anything. Yeah, give it a bash, Ethan. Like, obviously be careful, but give it a bash. Obviously I wasn't able to sustain 125% of FTP. But that's completely fine. At the end of the day, sometimes you got to get out of that mode of hitting a power number, especially when you're going as hard as you can and you're right on that limit. Sometimes you got to get out of that zone of just following the power, and sometimes you just got to get lost in the effort, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, a hill climb is much like getting lost in that effort. You know, a lot of it is automatic, so you're just going as hard as you can, but it's very like processed. The effort is already oven ready, you know what I mean? Like, you've already done it so many times. So yeah, Lord. Oh, Thank you, Phil. Fancy one more for the fans? I wish. I'll save something for tomorrow. It's about that consistency, remember. It's not about putting yourself in too much of a hole. Double day, certainly not. Oh. Tell you what, the cool down feels good, doesn't it? You know, when you've done all this and you're pedaling along at 50 watts. Feels good then, doesn't it? That's what it's all about, I think. Lie down for the rest of the day. Yeah, totally lie down for the rest of the day. Cook some food so I stay on track for the rest of the day, because that's the thing, like, when you're doing so little riding, as you can probably imagine, it's very easy to, like, you know, you snack on something and you snack on something else, and all adds up, doesn't it? So I feel like if I prep everything beforehand, I don't really have an excuse. I just eat what I've prepped and hide everything else. Oh. Do I do my workouts on erg mode? Only workouts to do on erg mode is anything below FTP, really. I wouldn't do this on erg mode. I know I did early on, but you have to ignore that somewhat, because obviously I don't have very optimal gears on this bike. I've got a 52 tooth big ring, I know I've got an 11 on the cassette, but it's not big enough for. So I was kind of stuck a little bit in this session. I was in my biggest gear doing just under 400 watts, so very difficult to get that power. Like I said, I probably would have been better outside, but you know, it's not necessarily about it being better or more accurate. At the end of the day, that's all I was trying to achieve with the session. Is, you know, if anything, this is one of the final 2 or 3 sessions I'm doing now. I'll do one more now, probably tomorrow, and next week I'm only going to do one, and then it's the Nationals. So today was all about just putting myself in a bit of a hole, and I know that's not very like scientific, or like, you know, it's not right into exact numbers. I know they're there, but they're a guidance. At the end of the day, you know, a hill climb, and this is why it's different to what a lot of you guys are training for. I know that, but you know, a hill climb requires you to just go deep, and I know I don't have to repeat it, but that's why the first effort was so good. Because I know that if I get that one pretty much like as hard as I can go and I get good numbers, you know, it doesn't really matter the others, because it's all this one. The goal of this one is to just go deep, you know. And the only way you can kind of quantify going deep when your power isn't high is heart rate, really, and perceived exertion. So, you know, you can see perfectly my heart rate is just massively, like, obviously the first one, I mean, that's pretty good for my first one. Like, rarely do I, obviously I had a pretty decent warm-up, but like, I rarely ever get into the 180s on my first effort, even if it is that hard. And then they're all in that area then, which is really nice to see, with extremely short rest. So yeah, not for the faint-hearted, but there we are, it's done now. I don't have to think about it. It's over. It's over. Up the neck. So this weekend I'm off to Newcastle. I'm doing the Muckle Cycling Club Hill Climb, which is just outside of Newcastle. I'm staying up with John Bowman from Band of Climbers. Apparently they're doing refurbishment to their HQ, so I would show you around, but I don't think I can. I sent Francis Cade a message on Instagram. He's not in the area, he's down in London, so we were exchanging a couple of messages previously. But he said unfortunately he's down in London, so there won't be any Francis Cade, if those of you are wondering, because he does live up there. I'm going up Friday, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The hill climbs on Sunday. It's actually been really difficult. I'm going to talk about this in my video. It's been really difficult to like plan these hard sessions in the week, actually, because there's obviously an extreme balance between like freshness and like feeling motivated and everything else, and this, if anything, like doing a hill climb on a Sunday, then doing the Zwift racing on a Monday night, I have to have a day off on a Tuesday, and then on Wednesday I have to fit the session in. I have to fit the session in then, because then you get to like Thursday, and then if I have to travel on the Friday, I don't want to be traveling with tired legs or heavy legs from a session, because that's also tiring in itself, and you don't get optimal recovery when you're sat in a car for 6 hours. I know a couple of you have said, like, you don't know how I do it, you don't know how I manage to travel and do what I do. Well, not do what I do, but like, you know, give everything I can off the back of all this traveling. But I suppose all those years of racing and having to fly places, like, has made like traveling in the UK somewhat feel a lot easier than it is. But next week's going to be a heck of a lot easier. You know, I'll do the Zwift racing on Monday night. I'm going to feel pants again because of the big travel back on Sunday, 6 hour drive. And then Wednesday or Thursday will be my final session. And then boom, we're there. Seems crazy, doesn't it? I know there's only 50 of you here, but it seems crazy that like the time has flown. And just like I said, like every week we've been like making progression, and you can only ask for that. Like you can only ask for, I know progression for a lot of people, and for me, for most of the year, is never linear. But you know, when you really knuckle down and just everything goes to one thing, like you're only focused on one thing and it doesn't matter about anything else, you sacrifice everything else, then, you know, it's hard not to make gains. You know, whether it be linear or not, it just so happens that it is linear, but I live a very different lifestyle, granted, to a lot of people. Like, I still very much live the pro lifestyle where, you know, the number one thing is my cycling performance at this time of my life, and everything feeds into that. Like all of you guys watching, you know, the community and the Discord, the sponsors that support me, you know, the coach, like everything, and the local, you know, not forgetting the local people as well. Like, you know, it all kind of feeds into me trying to like chase that dream while I'm young enough and have the wherewithal to do it. You know, oh, flipping heck. I got a new skin suit coming tomorrow. There's not many of you in this live stream, but No Pins have made me a custom skin suit. I don't know if you know who No Pins are, but I am getting some new Band of Climbers kit on the weekend. I don't know what it is, but I think it might be winter stuff. We'll see what it is. No Pins reached out to me, must be about 2 weeks ago, and said, do you have a skin suit? I noticed you're racing in, you know, jersey and shorts, and, you know, obviously my number is flapping on the back of my jersey. And for those of you that maybe don't know, when we do the national hill climb, we won't just have a number on our back, we'll have arm numbers as well. And No Pins actually make like a plastic sleeve on your arm for the arm number, as well as, you know, obviously the now common plastic pocket on the back. So the No Pins speed suit, skin suit. So a few years ago when I rode for Zwift Carbon, we were sponsored by No Pins. I still have the skin suit, but it's obviously covered in sponsors. And they did a 3D scan of me, and they still have my measurements on file, and obviously I've not changed. So so they've just pulled up the old measurements and they've made it, and it's arriving tomorrow. There's no sponsors on it as far as I know. They did ask, do I want Band of Climbers on there, do I want, you know, and I said, well, because it's so last minute, if we put something on there and we don't put anybody else on there, then it's going to annoy people. You know, I know it won't, but do you know what I mean? Like, there's no point putting one on, because then everybody will want to be on. So let's just keep it neutral for this, because it's so last minute, and I didn't want to delay it, you know, and it not arrive before nationals. But massive kudos. Band of Climbers obviously make great kit. They don't make skin suit. They do make a prototype skin suit, which I rode last year, but I did ask for their permission, and they said, yeah, that's absolutely fine. You know, it's not their expertise anyway, so I'm just very grateful, very, very, very grateful for them reaching out. I got to be honest, because you know, a skin suit is one of those things where, you know, when you talk about like me missing out on a podium on the weekend by 3 seconds, I could have pulled a second back by just wearing a skin suit. I know I probably can't, but it's just those little things, isn't it? And I don't know how many of you wear skin suits and race in skin suits, but when you put a skin suit on, something triggers in your mind. You know, you're not just out for a club ride, or you're not just out for, you know, a coffee and a cake. You're there to race, you know. So I'll take it with me this weekend and give it a go, maybe see how it fits. But yeah, I know you know them, Kelvin. Well, you know, lots of people in the UK know no pins. Well, I guess lots of people worldwide know of them now because of the pocket. But yeah, session went well, Zach. Thank you. It's one of the final sessions. It's not the final session, but yeah, session went well. Thank you for asking. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Breathing. Love it. Absolutely love it. No, I don't. No, nothing on it, Lord. Nothing on it. I didn't want to go down that route, for obvious reasons. Like I just explained. You know, you can't please everybody. And given that it was so late, I just wanted it. So yeah. All right, I'm gonna go and get eating and drinking because I've sweated a ton there. I'll have a lie down as well, like. Oh. So thank you, guys, as usual. It's been a blast. And we'll see you in the next video. I'll try and get a video out tomorrow, and then we'll see how we go on the weekend for videos. But yeah, won't stress about it too much because it's all about optimizing now, isn't it? Let's get it. Oh, actually, Kelvin, no, you are allowed to have sponsors on it if you pay the CTT branding thing, which I have. So that's all good. Someone had a panic when I turned up in Band of Climbers kit on a CTT event, and they said, have you paid for the branding? And I went, yeah. So I know about all that. Oh my word. Oosh. Cheers, everyone. Keep us posted on that Zwift thing. I'll see you soon.